Hi, I'm Melody. Welcome to my channel Making Melody Crafts, and welcome back to our alphabet series. Today we're going to be doing embossing. That's right. So hit that subscribe button and let's get started. All right, we're down at the craft table ready to start our embossing adventure today. So the two things that we're going to do today is we're going to work with embossing folders, and then we're also going to work with actual embossing powders. So I'll show you that in a little bit. So this is my die cut machine. This is my Bigshot. I like it so much. It's pretty great. So this is an embossing folder. It has a raised image on the inside. And then we're going to grab our piece of paper. For this, I'm going to use the blue piece of paper. I just think it'll show up pretty well. Take something like a little, misting bottle of water, but just lightly spray it to kind of break up the fibers in the paper. And this paper is 6 inches wide. I'm going to put it in there, and then I'm going to get it here in my die cut machine and roll that through, and we'll show you what we get. All right, we're almost all the way through, and there we go. And so here's the embossing folder, and when you open it up, you can see all the texture. The paper's still a little wet, that'll dry of course, and that just helps it, to come out better. When you use one of these embossing folders, also I wouldn't use paper that's really thin because it can easily rip it. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool. And then once you do something like that and you have a nice raised image, and they make these in all sorts of different patterns. This one happens to be Sizzix, I believe. Yeah, that's Sizzix. But you can go ahead and just kind of hit it with some ink, with an ink pad, and then you can see your raised image and, a whole bunch of fun stuff that you can do with those. So if you don't have a die cutter, you can still do the embossing like that with, some kind of a can. That's a can of yams. That's a really huge can. So I'm going to mist again, just kind of off camera there. Lay this down, and I have done it before this way instead of using my die cutter, and then just put a lot of pressure on that as you roll your can, and that'll work pretty good. And when you do this, it's really easy too. The thing can kind of go flying across the room, so use some caution, be careful. But okay, that didn't come out too great. I would have to roll that through again. And, a rolling pin would also be good, but I didn't grab mine, so we'll just stick with a can. And just so you see the image that we got, it's kind of just here on the edge. Yeah, you can see that there. I'll kind of hit that with some ink so that you can see the texture that kind of came through. So, it just takes more effort, but if it's, if you don't have a die cutter, then obviously, make do with what you got. All right, now this is the other embossing method, system, technique. This is the other embossing technique that I'm going to show you now. And I think this is the one that most people think of with embossing ink and embossing powder. So I'm going to use a black piece of paper because I'm using silver embossing powder. And my embossing powder is, I kid you not, I think that it's like 20 years old. Your embossing powders can go bad over time. If you have super humid conditions, they can kind of go bad. And what it's made out of is just plastic. It's little tiny pieces of plastic. It's not like glitter though. Once it's heated, it stays right where you put it. So that's pretty cool. And this is the embossing ink pad, which is pretty much just glycerin, where your embossing powder is. See how shiny it is? So I'm going to stamp it down on here, and this says Happy Spring. I know it's almost summer, but technically it's still spring, so we'll go with it. Oh, let me turn that around so you can see it. I don't recommend spinning around your stamps like that, but I did it because I'm just wild and crazy today. It's sunny out, there was a storm, it's sunny again. I don't know, it's just a wild day, right? Pretty exciting. I had 2 cups of coffee today, so. Now I have already preheated my heat tool, so that is already really hot. If you're using a heat tool for this, you want to be really careful. So that looks like a lot, but it's okay because you're going to put that back in the jar. So that's all on there, and you need to work quickly. And then if you see any little pieces, you can kind of get them off with a paintbrush. So now you kind of see that there, that powder's there, but it is still wet. So this is going to be loud. So if need be, we'll kind of skip through this. But if you can, if you don't mind the noise, it's kind of fun to watch it happen. So we're going to start from the back. Just kind of heat that paper. And that's about how close I have it, is about, an inch away, 2 inches away maybe. Now I'm going to go from the top, and it is really hot, so I actually may need to use my tweezers. See it starting to change? Isn't that cool? All right, I grabbed my tweezers. We're going to do the rest. And see how it changes? As soon as you see it change, move your heat tool. Don't stay in that area. There we go. So this is not the same as the hair dryer, the heat tool. If you're not aware, you can also, you know, they get super, super hot, but they don't blow a lot of air. It's just a lot of heat. I believe this one heats up to 350 degrees. Yep, we're all good. So now there's a raised surface there. Hopefully you can see the dimension, the texture there. So super fun. So now the extra embossing powder, I'm just gonna quickly show you. We have it on a piece of paper, and this is kind of my system. Everybody has a way of doing it. And all of that goes right back into your bottle. Try not, if you've used different colors, obviously try not to mix them. But yeah, and that's why it lasts so long, because you only need a little bit. So that is what we've got. So that is our embossing video. If you liked this video and had some fun, please subscribe. It would really help me out and help me to get noticed by YouTube. And I'll catch you later.